Dear sisters and brothers, this is the broadcast for the 25th of June 2022, but it also takes a little insight from yesterday, which is 24th of June. It was another 666 portal day, actually. So the Turkish broadcast was done yesterday, and I was a little bit late for doing the English version because it's more important for the Turkish ground, actually, the transitions, because it's related to the omega energies as well. As you know, Turkey is the center of spiritual energy, so it was more important. But I apologize for 1 day delay. As you know, the Earth rotates on its own axis, and this is 1 day. And depending on the gravity, the pulling effect, the gravitational effect of different magnetic fields, the axis of the Earth makes a precision move, which is very slow, is a slow rotating movement, and it takes about 26,000 years. Actually, there are other effects like precision, nutation, or polar motion. You can read about them in internet. It is different impacts, actually, that affects the precision and then affects the time. Actually, it affects the 1 day time, for instance, a day time, the hours, and sometimes it is shortened. We keep hearing that the time gets shorter and shorter every day. So it is simply not easy to make a proper calculation of time. Actually, it's also not very easy to define time. Therefore, it's perhaps important to revisit the ancient knowledge and to dig into some other factors that we know other than pure science. I'm not against science, but it needs to be complemented with other spiritual knowledge, in my opinion. The precession was, for instance, found out in the 2nd century. And this is the registered information, already recorded history. But of course, we shouldn't be satisfied only with recorded historical knowledge. We need to dig prior to that. For instance, we can examine the long count calendar of Mayan that takes the 22,000 yearly periods as one cycle. And also the law of time knowledge I appreciate a lot, and this is also an ancient set of knowledge. We have completed the 19th cyclus, whatever you call it, in the year 1999. And the most important feature of the 19th cyclus was that the most improved souls returned back to the earthly plane, and they accept to be a guide, make guidance to the least educated or least evolved souls, because it's the main one of the main periods that we can call it a graduation. Actually, every cyclus, every 26,000 yearly period had a graduation, and the last 6,000 years of every cyclus is an accelerated program so that more beings can be graduated from the school that lasts about one cyclus. And all the graduate souls who were successful during these 19 cyclus, they have now met in the very last one. So we can call it a graduation period of the graduates. So it's really a main graduation period. And it is the main harvesting period where we transit to a parallel world. Actually, the souls, the beings who are present during the 19th, all together 19 cycluses, they will not live any more such cyclus or cyclus periods anymore. They are living other time periods right now. For instance, after the 1999 year, we have the 2000 and the 2007, these years. And amongst these years, there was a first mini cyclus, we call. The second mini cyclus was 2008-2014, and these were very intensive periods where we had to face very rapid changes in Earth's plan. And we know that humanity is no longer the same humanity after the 1999. So these mini cycluses will continue, I guess, because the 2015 until 2021 resembles very much to the fast changes of 2000 and 2007, first mini cyclus. And also, I assume that 2022 until 2028 will be very much similar to the accelerated program that we lived in the second mini cyclus. So this is a new time period, actually. The number 19 represents the Omega dimension. As you know, it's the dimension where we graduate from this closed system. It is the door for graduation. Once we pass it, we're no longer the same humanity. So it is important that this Omega dimension gets connected to some hologram worlds, and it can continue with some old time bands so that more beings can be educated and evolved through the same operating system. But it is no longer the same who already manage it, who already graduated. We will graduate for another time period and time and world, perhaps. That's what we assume. According to the divine justice laws, as I talked about in the 7th broadcast of the Time Chronicles, every being is given a life span so that they can get evolved. At the very, very, very end, after this evolution programs are completed, we will have some beings who are unsuccessful. Either they're going to be fixed, or they're going to be raised through other programs, or they're going to be converted into energy. Unfortunately, that's the current knowledge. But of course, when we increase the collective consciousness and if we enlarge our capacity to love, we may get over these negative possibilities, I believe. So, where we live is not an absolute dimension. It is a derivative dimension. And a derivative dimension is open to possibilities of any kind. And wherever the collective consciousness is, at what level it is, that possibility is opened as a program, and humanity passes through this program. If, for instance, you have more capacity to love, larger capacity to love and accept, it is enabled that a higher quality of spiritual energy is downloaded onto the earth. That means easier evolution programs for the humanity. There is perhaps no need to have these heavy programs to fast improving of the consciousness. Actually, we can ease them. So we can increase the collective consciousness and enlarge the capacity to love at the same time. Okay, so Time is not linear. We talked about it. It's a consciousness. So time equals consciousness in a way. The coordinates of consciousness determines the coordinates of time. And the level of consciousness of the whole humanity and the frequency it reflects plugs or pulls the events that we are going to experience. And if we have higher consciousness, we have more knowledge and more, fine-tuned knowledge. And we have improved quality of life. And we won't waste the time span that is given to us, that is called life. That is, unfortunately, an event for a whole humanity. We're not immortal yet. But that is limiting this time span, and then we are appreciating this little time span that we have at hand, perhaps. One day, I'm sure, I believe in it, that we are going to have immortal programs. And for this eternal life, we need high consciousness. Because if we have low consciousness and a low quality of experience, or a life that doesn't serve the humanity, doesn't serve the totality, the universe, purpose, no target, and this pulls you below a certain frequency level. And that means your body and your mind operates under a current capacity that is a normal capacity that is given to you, and it is idle in a way, idle capacity. So it starts to decay, it starts to deteriorate, and it closes itself. This is true for the human beings. This is also true for corporations or associations. If you cannot operate under the rules, under the principles that you are founded upon, if you have ego, corporate ego, your corporation doesn't work anymore. So there's no difference between corporations and humans. So they all have a lifespan. And we can enlarge this lifespan if we have a higher consciousness. Why not? So, everything needs to be appreciated, and our chances are limited, unfortunately. We have to use this given chances very well. So, I'm going to a little bit summarize upon the 6th of June. That was the first 666 door. And the 24th of June is the closing of this period. 6th of June was opening, 24th was the closing. So both are the 666 gate. And on the midnight, there was a little ritual that we carried out with some friends, and that was to ask for something for the humanity. We did it in Turkey, so this is as you know, the center. That's why I didn't open up to others. But you can repeat this. Time is not important. The moment you listen to this broadcast, you can wish something, health or peace or goodness for the humanity. Anything. It's depending on your creativity and your power behind this asking, act of asking. So, how can you understand your collective consciousness is increasing, improving? For instance, you can catch more synchrons in, for instance, 11:11. When you look at your watch, you can say, oh, okay, I catch some synchrons of time. So this is kind of building or making another person out of what you have at hand. So you can make mistakes, it's okay, but you can correct your mistakes. And in derivative dimensions, we are here to make mistakes, because in the perfect dimensions, in the absolute dimensions, we cannot make mistakes. And we have to experience, okay, this is not a mistake, but you have to know that behind everything you experience, you have to recreate yourself, recreate your consciousness, and you have to become something more than you are currently, because this is how we have to go to the totality. That's how we improve the whole humanity one by one. So, according to the law of time, the first 666 portal day was the blue rhythmic storm, the 6th of June, and the 24th of June was the red spectral earth. But the guide of the red spectral earth was a blue hand. So something blue, okay, it's something eternal, an eternal energy. That's what the blue color stands for. And of course, it is the blue rhythmic storm talks about fire and light, the lightning, and a systematic change or electromagnetic storm that enables transmutation. And the red spectral earth is unfortunately where we can witness some fires. And in Turkey, unfortunately, we have now our forests are getting burned. It's a very bad day, actually, but we see that, we witness that it is full of fire, and we need to neutralize that fire through our thoughts, through our acts. We have to do that. And the month we are in is crystal. So it is now 25th of June, and we have 1 month until the New Year's Eve for the law of time calendar, which is the 26th of July. So during the crystal month, crystal moon, we have to accelerate energy. We have to generate more energy through our brain, and we have to generate more love through our heart. We have to be a transmitter of energy. And as I said, the year 2022 gives the number 6, and 6 is a difficult number because it's one to the completion, which is the 7. Number 7 is the completion. So it is the last examinations before the graduation. Okay, we have to choose our battles wisely, but we have to plant a seed of time very wisely, and seed of love, of course, very wisely. And I'd like to say that we need to be open to new knowledge sets. Actually, they are not new, they are sometimes ancient, but we need to be open to them. We need to analyze at least, or study, so that we can grasp much better what is the totality of the human consciousness, what is the collective consciousness, and where we are not right now in terms of the average of this consciousness. I mean, what is the grade of it? So we need to be more open to other channels, other knowledge sets. Please think about it. So the picture, the image that I put on this video, on this broadcast, is made with artificial intelligence. There are some flowers. These are the flowers of my garden, but I mixed it with some other elements by the help of this artificial artist, the robot actually. But I appreciate the transition. I don't generate fear. On the contrary, I generate love, and I generate understanding of what's going on. That's very important, because that's the way how we raise consciousness, not by fear, not by obsession. This is so important. Thank you very much for listening.